I wanted to give everybody a chance to understand that I was right about the problem. I'm a little disappointed in the Holly fuel pump. I have about just under 3 pounds of pressure, according to the fuel pressure gauge right there. That's not impressive to me. Um, but as far as driving it and straightening it out and smooth acceleration, right through the gears, she sounded like she was like a three-speed truck, and I was kind of happy with the results. But when you when you have, say, 3 pounds of fuel pressure and you're on the throttle real hard going up a hill, and you've got to pull more fuel, it's not going to do it. Now, what do I do from here? Do I put another pusher pump behind that pump? Do I go to a Holly red pump? Maybe some of you guys can give me information. You see, over the years, I could rely on Holly products, but that's why I won't buy another Holly carburetor. Because also this Edelbrock, since day one, I put it on even with the fuel pressure problem. Tremendous improvement over the Holly. Okay, so I need a sustainable fuel pressure because it's one thing that I don't have. And I know the wind may be making noise. I'm going to put my hand up here by the camera. I doubt it's going to help, but that's what I just wanted to say is when you have a fuel pressure problem, a lot of the old school solutions are your solution. Your new problem is the new products made in China. They're not proofed. They're not made to any specs. Uh, China probably made that pump for Holly. It pumps fuel and it's fine. I don't think they did any testing on it. Or maybe I have a defective pump since it came from Scamazon, not directly. Suppliers do get bad products, and they do tend to dump them on Fleabay and Amazon. Okay, just like those vent visors, I didn't like them. Okay, now where do we go from here? I'm asking you guys if you have any tips. Do I go to maybe a Holly red pump? Will that give me a more of a sustainable fuel pressure? Let me know where I'm at. Okay, I figured 4 to 7 pounds would be plenty for this truck because I figured I'd be getting either 6 or 7 pounds out of the pump the way it's installed, and even if I fall down to 3 pounds going up a hill, it's still enough to keep the truck in motion. But as far as 3 pounds of fuel pressure and then go up a hill with, say, a large draw when those secondaries open, okay, that might be fine for a 2-barrel carburetor, but it's not going to sustain a 4-barrel going up a hill. I goddamn T that. I'm going to try it, but I put this truck through enough, and that strains the transmission when you're losing that constant velocity. Luckily, there's not a CVT transmission in it. It's a beefy old C6 that's in there, and she runs cool enough with the cooler and the big radiator. I'm only running at times I'm only running at 125, say 125 degrees to 200, if it's taxed. But I'm staying at about 125. I did get it up to 200. I got stuck in traffic at an accident or whatever, kept it down in gear. So what I was just doing was just letting it idle in neutral, and it brought it back down to about 150 degrees. A lot of that's like because I like the cam sound, and I'm getting the cam sound out of this. I'm getting everything now that I put into it. It's just that I do not have that sustainable fuel pressure. And then I'll take you off the tripod. You guys got a solution for this? Because I'm thinking about taping rags on a stick. I've got to clean here. I've got a lot of pollen and dirt and stuff. And I don't know if they make one of them skinny squeegees. You guys let me know what I can get in there with. Because I got pollen from this girl sitting for damn near 3 weeks waiting on a Mickey Mouse part. Like I said, I'm getting a little salty. Okay? That all that stuff was available on the internet, but I just couldn't find it. To me, it's like a deliberate insult to injury. It took more than a week for that stuff to start populating on the computer. Well, better part of 2 weeks. And like I said, now I'm going to look into Evil Energy and see if they have a catalog or something. But yes, it did. It tremendous improvement in acceleration. I'm not going in traffic and putting the choke on to keep it idling normal. As I said, that other pump was probably canceling out and making that pump draw overwork it. Maybe that's what's wrong with it. But Holly should have their goddamn heads and their asses wired right, you know, to ask you, you know, what type of vehicle you're working with. Because I'm going to tell you, as I said in my other video, you're not going to get the 90s pump. That's too much fuel pressure. It's going to blow the lines apart, even if you have a, you know, a relief, a return on the fuel pressure regulator. Uh, it's not worth it. And then the other pump is just a prime pump. It's only made to run a minute or two to get the truck going, and then the high pressure pump kicks in and sucks the fuel through that pump. So they missed the boat. The other thing that Holly could do, okay, Edelbrock, make a sending unit that my fuel gauge works when you do these conversions. And as you see, there was a low spot in that tank. That's where I located that fitting to drop the fuel out of the tank, and I put that baffle in there. And as I said, in traffic, I encountered no negative fuel pressure. Like I said, I'm impressed. Now the dog hunts. But then again, I'm left with one last problem. And that's what keeps you spending all your money. I guess maybe it is a plan with Summit and Jegs and them, you know, the higher stupid people, because you keep throwing money. You know, it's called the shotgun. You're throwing the kitchen sink at it because the employees don't know the products. They don't work with the products. They're just another body there to answer their phone and sell you something. And then you call, you know, say a shop like I have 2 shops and I have a relationship with them, but they don't like answering questions. You know, I'm not a paying customer, and I don't like that attitude either. But that's what I've got to put up with in my old age. But just saying, it's not that I didn't know what I'm doing. My concept works. It's just the products that I'm working with. And that's why, like I said, when Uncle Tony was saying about these new age products, they're mostly made in China. They're untested. They don't function to spec when you get them, because you're the guy that actually knows that the product is not doing what it's supposed to. And then the people selling it to you are not familiar with these, what they call a sustainable or an equitable use, okay? That part is doing, and you're getting your money out of that part that it's doing for you what it's supposed to do. And that goes for spark plugs and everything else down the line. You can't even trust a goddamn spark plug anymore. The cores fall right out of them. It's why I still smoke. So I explained to you guys sufficiently and ask questions. If anybody has does anybody have an intelligent comeback? That's what I need, okay? Don't think that I know it all. I learned from other people, and that's why I like YouTube, okay? As I said, I could have done a job, say, several times 10, 20 years ago, and then I got to do that job again. I like to go to YouTube, because maybe I'm going to skip a step, or find another way to do it, an easier way to do it. Now, thanks for watching my video, and, you know, thanks for contributing. Oh, pardon that, I love you. Your comments are spot on. Even with Tony, hey, but as I said, that guy started out in Chrysler, and he's still with it. And this wind is going to affect it. You can't find those vehicles up here in the Northeast. Okay, I don't know where you're getting your stuff from, but everything here is so rotted, and half the parts you need for, you know, the body stuff to put it back together, let alone the frames, they don't make shit. And if they do, it's not really affordable. Might as well go out and buy a new car and just run it, you know. They're pricing the American consumer right out of these projects. Okay, as I said, Summit and Jegs are going to get to be dinosaurs, because they're not hiring the people, they're not familiar with the products that they're selling, they're not checking the spec on the products that they're selling you. And like I said, normally Edelbrock delivers. And Witty used to deliver years ago. Even, like I said, Witty was one of the only companies I remember that would send you the intake gaskets they wanted you to use with their product. And a lot of times there was a little note in the box if there was something critical that you should know. You don't get that anymore. You get something in a box, and you've got to figure out everything else you might need with it. They don't give you maybe a Ford, a GM, a Chevy, say a material schedule or part schedule with it, even a spec schedule. And it's what scares me, and it's what's going to scare off the future generations from enjoying a rewarding hobby. It was so satisfying going down that road, hearing that thing throttle out, go through the gears like it's a 3-speed truck, you know, like I'm shifting gears, and it was wow, 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 and it just kept pulling, because it didn't do that before. I could get it up to speed, but I had to push it, And then the next time I'm getting to a stoplight, I'm getting a dead spot, or I'm pulling the choke on to get more fuel to the car. So I already knew it was a fuel starvation issue. Thank you for watching my videos. And as I said, use the comment section, okay? I'm open even to insults. I have some zinger comebacks too, because I've been all around the world. And as I said, don't tell me the way the world really works. This political shit show that we're still in with food prices. And like I said, I am very disappointed in Trump coming on television and telling us food prices are going down. My ex-wife called me. She needs money. She just bought a roast, I guess a London broil. And this thing is like the size of this for like $35. And I told her, I said, yeah, it's outrageous. Because ground beef here is almost $9 a pound. It's about a penny or two less from $9. It's disgusting. And it's really going to ruin the holiday for those of us that like hamburgers. Even hot dogs are $4, $5, $6 a pack when they used to be $2.50 a pack. It does affect me. Use that comment section.